Welcome, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on whereabouts in the world you are. I hope you're having a phenomenal day so far. And welcome to our Bellwright stream. You're going to see Bellwright up in a minute. There's been another patch. We're playing on Bellwright as a community game with a co-op setup. So if you want to join us, you're most welcome to. There's, I think, up to 4 people allowed, and there's been another stability and upgrade patch today. So let's see what we're up to. I think I was hunting. We were going to go and fight an encampment so we can get some additional materials for fire. So, yeah. Okay. Should be able to see the stream now. There we go. Right, let's get going. So co-op, host from save. There we go. Right, I think I set myself up to go hunting and fighting. Let's go do it. This might take a while. So, Fire had asked about, there's a resource over here, peat. So we're going to have to clear that encampment. So I'm going to travel. Oh, damn it. They've literally just walked in. All right, I'll travel on this side. Hang on. It's saying it's not blocked. Let's try that again. Because this area is near the brigands' headquarters, it is heavily patrolled. And I'm going to try and avoid... hitting anything. That's what I was going to do. Yep, this is the... There we go. Yeah, this is the animal-friendly stream. Yep. Right, so if we want to head up this way, make our way around the bandits. I want to fight the bandit camp. I don't necessarily want to fight every patrol just for the giggles, so... let's go. I'm about to lose a lot of my stamina. I've just realised one of my meals is going to disappear. Oh, are you kidding? Woo! Aha! Oh, you are kidding. How many freaking bandit camps are there around here? Right, the one I really need to deal with is the archer. I'm walking too far away from the camp as well, which is not helping. Small problem, finding bodies in the marshland is going to be a bit rough. Aha! Oh, that was too late. Yep, that was letting him get too close. Also good to know, but kind of sucks. If you hit the bandage key too many times, it still only works once, but you will use all your bandages. Can I ask why you don't sword and board this? Get the game, come and sword and board it, and find out for yourself, sir. It's... sword and board is... rough without... Ooh, rough without a lot of health and a really good board. Welcome back, Fire. And also, you're outnumbered. So if you've got 4 people, hey Cookie, then... sure. But if you're fighting a whole camp full of people with nothing but a sword and board, you're going to die. Just a lot. So I have so little interest while trying to clear a camp out. Because like Mortal, if you ran into like 6 people in Mortal with nothing but a one-hand weapon, you're going to have a bad time. And I also only have a woodcutter's axe and no armor. What? I mean, I'm not going to not take advantage of the fact that you turned up, looked straight at me and then ran away, but... I mean, the combat is not bad, but it is not great either. And I don't know whether that's just because my character has low skills in hand-to-hand and terrible weapons and terrible armor. But one hit in hand-to-hand combat with a mace will pretty much kill you. One arrow will pretty much kill you. And I am fully stocked on food. This is kind of the best case scenario for fighting. Nope. And by that I mean I've got loads of a really large stamina bar because of the food I've eaten. So I'm able to fire and kite. Your standard health and stamina bar is the size of the three little food icons at the top. And you see that dude is using a double-handed weapon. I'm running out of place I can run to. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, I'm not going to complain about that one bit. Also, fighting in marshes sucks. So you see how much my stamina has dropped by because one of our meals ran out. Oh, no, that didn't fire. Slightly annoying game bug. Come on, where's your body? There it is. Do you want me to keep hold of thatch or iron nails more fire? In fact, I can just wait for them to come back again and hang on. That should trigger them. Both, okay. Yep, that's who I'm looking for. Where's that arse? Yep, there's the archer. So if that archer hits me again, I am dead in a single shot. Nice shot. Oh! Yep. I can't believe I survived that. Gonna take the smoked meat because that will regain, that gives you a much bigger health bar. I think that arse archer might be dead. No. Ah! I hit the wrong key, chat. And right, part of this is I do not want to leave this area and let the garrison respawn. Oh, out of stamina. This is going to be a bad time. Ooh. No, and it's not firing my bow is also a bad time. What the frick are you? You retreating or? There you go. This banner is ours. What do you mean already claimed? You already claimed. Right. Oh, I've got some mosses here as well. Also claim when all are dead. That hasn't been the case previously when we've taken camps out. We've had to run in. But all right, we've got a couple of loot bags here. I'm gonna drop the onions. Oh, sorry, the beetroot. Sorry. Peat bricks. I'm going to drop the fur for the peat brick. There's iron nails here, so I'll just hold on to some of this stuff until you get here, Fire. Nothing massive. There's like fine stew. What's 40, 45? Oh, in fact, I can pick up quite a lot of this stuff just by... There we go. Let's do that. So I didn't realise I'd emptied my quiver out quite so much. Alright, if that despawned by the time Fire gets here, I'm not going to be that upset. Problem is, I bet we can't build. Yeah, no roads nearby. So the nearest road we're going to be able to build on is not very far off where we already have this. Okay, and what does the peat say now? Right, we need to dig for peat, but there is loads of it here. Right. AI are feeling annoyed. I'll run back to base and go and drop some food off. You have a shovel, inventory's full. Cool. I can grab a shovel and do a couple of rounds of running out here. And just turn off waypoint that one and make sure we remove the waypoint from that. Should make our UI a little bit less confusing. And it looks like we've got another one waypointed up here, so I'm going to remove the waypoint from that. There we go. And another one. Let's have a wee look. Which one's been waypointed down here? Alright. Without bandits, I can go here easy. Yeah, it makes sense. And I think there'll still be shed loads of bandits, but it's because the HQ's nearby. But at least it's going to be a... Did I remove the waypoint from this one as well, like a numpty? There we go. Yeah, we did. But at least it's then just timing to run across rather than them definitely standing over the peat. There we go. Go and drop some food off for the AI, pick up some arrows, and drop off all these iron nails as well. There we go. Iron nails. I'll put the mosses in here for now. Strap can go in there. I think thatch was already had somewhere else to go. Pelt can go in there. Put the books over here. Okay, reading an agility book, so that will increase my agility a wee bit over time. And let's drop off. Sorry about the beeping. I'll put the clay brick, sorry, the peat brick over here as well. Sorry, my bat phone is going off, guys. Just give me a wee second. And right, more books. The adventure gear, I'll drop some other stuff. 52 hours is probably enough to go out. That can go in there. And we'll drop off all the other good food for all of our NPC villagers can have that. We only need 3 foods, so put 2 beetroot in there. I have the fine stew as well. And then where's the sorting point? There you go. Drop off storage. All the thatch can go in there. I'll take that one bandage out so it can go into the other one, and then we can get on our way, chat. I think I need a shovel though. We're going to go and grab Pete. There's Cookie. Is there a weapons rack around here? Luminary. Ah, thank you. What? No, I don't need all of them. Are you kidding? I can have a bow or... Ha 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 ha. Oof. Okay, so I'm not going to be carrying a huge amount going back and forth then. So I have to swap my bow out every time we want to use the... use the shovel. Oh, won't let me select it. There we go. All these big bandit patrols down here are the reason why every so often you just can't fast travel to the one across the bridge, because they keep going from one end to the other. And it's not going to matter too much if I kill them, because they'll just send more. Oh. Although it looks like fire needs some help, so... Ow, and I need some help because that was an archer. Just fire going to beat them to death. Oh dear. I knew that was going to happen. I should have just stayed back. Alright, let's go and beat them to death with my bare hands, apparently. I should have stayed back a bit and... only makes 3 damage with an axe. Yes. Yeah, it kind of sucks. That's why range and hitting them in the face does more damage. And these are the most basic level of arrows. It's to be fair, Veiled, it's because they're wearing shed loads of armor and I'm not. Oh no, come on game, let me... All right. Try and grab this other one. Right, well, let's go dig up Pete. He died on the job, so we have to dig him up and get him working again. Just corporate life, right? Can I just place a waypoint there? No, apparently I can't. Pete for whiskey, right? Right? Well, this is a bit whiskey. You can see that whole patrol to my left on the minimap. That'll do. I'll pick up a couple of wee reeds on the way. There you go. That'll do. Fire. How much peat do we need? Should be enough now. Gets one per iron ore. Okay. Oh. What's the next thing you need ticked off the list? Fire. There is an entire army behind you there. Have to be patient. How rude. With the iron, we can unlock all the new fancy stuff. Cool. Uh-oh. Is that them utilizing a road? Might step back just a little bit further. 41 arrows is not enough for that fight. When I have nice armor, ceasefire, I'm gonna crush them. They will feel your wrath. There we go. And off we sneak. You know what? That makes sense. Well, let me empty my kit. I'll fast travel back with this stuff and I'll come back and build it. So I need to grab more food. I might actually have to go hunting. Hey, cookie. The iron mask on there. Well, certainly upgraded mask over what I've got. Right. Any food will do. Alright, we'll take the spiced rustic stew. I'm always looking at whatever's expiring first. Okay. That'll do. I'll go and build myself a new fast travel point. Bring a knife to a gunfight, not that smart. Bring a knife to a bow fight, apparently not that dumb. One seems to be enough for 2 to 3 iron ingots. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, you... Ah, he moved off to the right. Commander Cody. Cody, you found an area with a few burst shoes. Still a paying bear. Oh, that's cool. Whereabouts does that fire? I was muted. Sorry, a call came in. I do apologize, guys. Welcome, Commander Cody. Lovely to have you here. And Tomat, lovely to have you here as well, my friend. So we've managed to get the gear up together. We've managed to kill off the bandit camp. Got access to loads of peat. So I'm guessing that hunting's the next thing needs to be done. So I'm just going to have a wee look around here. Oh. Not trying to kill him, just trying to get him to trigger this way. Ah! Okay, well... Oh, when the game doesn't fire the arrow is a little frustrating. And again, cut, really? Third time, that's just not fired the arrows. Don't mind dying when I'm being stupid, but there were three arrow shots I should have fired there. Every time I turned round, that was me firing the bow. So out of 7 shots, 3 of them didn't fire. That wasn't actually the animal I was looking for, but... Perhaps bow is broken. It's a pretty common occurrence. Ah, it's going away. And the other 4 didn't hit, says Cody. Wow. I mean, you're not wrong, but words hurt. You've been numbed in the upper and lower left side. You can't talk. Oh, that sucks. Unfortunately, no words hurt as well, right? I can... Oh, wow. Cracking through the research there, Fire. But 3 teeth are fixed. Awesome. That's some good news. hit, but not critical. Not going to waste another arrow. Going out on Tuesday, we'll finish up with the root canal as being a butt. Awesome. Third says need to make an appointment here as well. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a waste of an arrow. Shouldn't have taken that second shot. I'm not going to run after it, but I'm just going to stalk up to the edge here. On your way in. It'll be lovely to have you here. I'm probably getting spotted by the deer. I'm just trying to hunt for some meat for the village at the moment. I think that's too high. Oh, boar. Damn. Did not notice that at all. Was not what I was looking for. But I'll happily take the bacon. There we go. I think that gets enough to fast travel back and drop some food off at camp. Hopefully that should keep the camp going for a little while at least. And drop all these pelts off. Okay, I am going to have to get myself some more arrows though, even if I'm just hunting. Which means I'm going to have to go woodcutting instead. Right, first we'll grab the reeds. Oh, and cut down all the young trees here. Or... I think I need 3 stone as well. To repair my crude woodcut axe. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Get the reeds, craft some arrows, go back hunting, and then we'll go and kill a camp. So what you got planned for your day today, Tollmat? Anything fun? Ooh, up and away. There we go. I do like the fact that you can place loads of fast travel points so you don't have to spend your entire life running from one end of the map to the other. Right, first things first, repair the axe, otherwise I'll just forget. And then let's craft ourselves some simple arrows for a simple flanker. We'll dump off the excess and then go back to that hunting ground again, maybe. Nice those in our quiver. Cool. Let's get out of here. Oh, also. So the significance of the birds discussion, chat, is that the only birds we found so far are killing the chickens from the nearby village, which damages our reputation. Oh, fine axe. Nice. Fire is banging through that research.
Hello there. I hope you're enjoying the beauty and bounty of nature today.
They've got cotton seeds here if you want them. Fire. Is there only one here that I've not seen before? Because I think we have turnip seeds, onion seeds. I think we have hemp and garlic seeds, radish seeds. Oh. Bearing in mind that's 1 or 2 bandit kills, I'll pick them up anyway and bring them back, because worst case scenario, we've already got some. Excuse me, good sir, is that mushroom stew
Good day,
still
my
for
friend.
sale?
Are you in need of any natural remedies?
No. Just that. Corvus, run, rabbit, run, 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 run. Here comes Flanker with ginger man bun. Oh, rude. Says you okay there, Fire? Your work lurking but couldn't resist. Totally reasonable, Corvus. Oh, quilted vest over gambeson. It is slightly depressing that the hunting sounds in this are more sorted than they are in the Hunter Call of the Wild. Game crash, you blame the boar. Oof. Ah. Is that us having the ability to fish now? Oh, hang on. I'm going to pretend that I'm friendly.
I'm doing something. Go away, stranger.
Sure. Where the frick is that stag? Excuse me. Ah, there's a fisherman. Do. And does whatever a spider pig does. Where'd he go? Oh no. Sir? Sir, I know it's late at night, but you really shouldn't sleep in water. It's Russ. Do you want me to grab some fish fire?
What brings you to my humble abode?
How you doing, fish? Honestly, that's kind of one or two fights. We've got over 10,000 gold. I don't know if that's rich or noob rich. That level of effort gets you one. Oh. Wow, giving me one on stream, so I appreciate it. Right, where... I'm not even seeing like a light up for this, the corpse. There it is. A drop to the hides. That'll do. Let's head along the coast towards our fast travel point. That beach seems like it might be an interesting hunting point, actually. Should probably set up another fast travel point down there. Unfortunately, I don't have the inventory space to do that right now. That's a lot of wolves over there. That's good news. More hunting is more good. Fast travel, my waypoints on. When you run on streets, you use less stamina. That makes sense. Right, I'll dump the rest of the stuff off in the drop-off storage. There we go. Russ says, Flanker, with things like the Tarkov DLC drama, do you think the same company repeating that sort of thing harms them or helps them? On the one hand, people might get sick of it, but on the other, each time they do, it lowers people's standard expectations a bit lower. I also this feels like the second or third similar EFT drama in a few months. Yeah, I mean, that's... We, like, the pushback on NFTs was really massive, and we started to see companies abandon their NFT plans when they realized it was going to cost them a fortune in server time, that people weren't that interested. They still had to implement the items in all the games, and they could implement all the items in games using a freaking database. They didn't need an NFT to do that for them. You could use a simple database and an API between them. And the reason I mentioned that is because that felt like a bit of a victory for gamers. Because there are lots and lots of firms that were very invested in the NFTs becoming a thing as an additional tradable item and additional revenue source, particularly because one of the neat things about NFTs for those companies was that they could take a cut of each time it was traded. So if you had this ridiculously rare knife in a game, they would be able to take a cut of it every time someone traded it. So if someone bought it for real world money, they would be able to trade it again. I think that every time players keep shelling out, like, complain all you like, if you spend the $250 on the new Tarkov update, and, like, for some context, $250 is a shocking amount for a game title for a lot of people. But, no, just put it in context. If you play Tarkov... How long's Tarkov been out now? A couple of years? They're running live service servers. That's the only... hang on, just let me miss this. Oh, yeah, got his head even though he was looking down. Great. Like, it's not as ridiculous as it sounds for in terms of the cost, if you are getting a significant amount of value out of it as a player. That being said, every time players put money into that when they are offering up pay-to-win mechanics, or saying, oh no, you'll definitely get everything. All of it. Yeah, not this. This isn't DLC. This is new game mode. That's not DLC. That's anyway, larger backpack. Yeah, we'll throw in a bigger backpack for you. And I think that you do enable gamers. So you do enable games companies, sorry, to do it again to you. Like, if you just shout a lot and then give them, you know, $500,000, all right, then they need to have some PR ready for you shouting at them and prepare their bank account for $500,000. Oh, that'll do. So I think that players need to vote with their wallets. And one of the things that players have been relatively good at pushing back on, loud and clear, has been pay-to-win mechanics. Now, some of the Tarkov stuff, I kind of... Larger locker, I don't really care about. I get why games that offer you to go in and out of an area, having a larger locker is a game advantage. But it doesn't necessarily impact other players. Bigger backpacks, slightly more annoying, unless they can be looted by other players, because that means you're effectively getting more loot every time. As soon as you get into things that actively, like, make it harder for others to play the game, not just easier for yourself, I think that's where we've been pretty good at pushing back on. But yeah, you have to vote with your wallet. And it has to apply both ways. Like, if consumers punish companies for doing the bad thing but never celebrate companies doing the good thing, then you just have less companies doing the good thing. So I think that if you push players too far, they will leave. But it's only effective if you have competition, they'll leave. It's like minimum wages, right? When people are, oh, it's free market economics, there should be no minimum wage because the market determines the price of labor. No, power imbalance determines the price of labor. So you have to set a minimum floor. You have to have some sort of regulation. If there is no other game in that space and it's a beloved game, the gamble for games companies is a lot lower that you're going to just eat it. If there are competitive games that are genuinely competitive for the same kind of experience without the mechanics, and gamers choose to purchase those games, and don't give you money, then you pulling more shenanigans just makes your player base smaller and smaller. I like the new Square Enix CEO was an NFT and blockchain supporter. The HP game director of Final Fantasy 14-16 was like, yeah, not in my games. And that's the biggest IP. Yeah, and I think that's... There has to be a sustainable route that players will accept to make your business sustainable, particularly if you run a game with servers. Like, cool as it is that you can play Warzone for no money, there has to be a route to be able to pay towards that, whether that is a game pass that buys time, not my preferred approach, or cosmetics that people enjoy or would like for their character. I have no problem with cosmetics, and I think that's the cleanest current way to get people to keep funding the game in a way. But yeah, I think that was a very long answer to your question, Russ, but I think it depends. And I think that as soon as consumers have a choice, then you'll see suddenly just one day people will be like, nah, you're okay, thanks. I don't need any of these shenanigans. Don't need you to charge me another $250. And I think that's one of the challenges that Tarkov's going to face. I think if people keep buying the game today, like That's no consequences. Can I take the berry jam out? No. So I've got a piece of meat that's about to go bad. I'm just looking to see if there's anything I can stick it that will... I think it's going to go bad before any of that stuff's ready. Oh hum. Feels like an NPC problem. Let's grab one of those. Oh, no, not. Anyway. Small berry jam on the go. Let's drop all this stuff. And I think that content creators have part to play in that as well. Like, if the... And it is rough, like... If you are wholly reliant on streaming a particular game for your livelihood, so I've got friends that are very focused on one particular game, and when they play anything else, they like their viewership drops off a cliff because their audience is super interested in how they do builds for a particular game or a particular fight, or they'll want to jump in and play boss fights in a particularly big franchise. When there's no updates for that, the audience kind of tapers off. But when they are like their average views on a good day is 300 odd views on their main game, their average views playing literally anything else is 8, and like that is rough. So I totally get that if you're in that position, that if your game releases the biggest backpack, the biggest things, you're probably going to go out and buy the DLC, or buy the expansion, or buy the new shiny edition. A, because you need to create some content with it, and B, because that's what your fan base is there for, and you can't really win at that point, because by buying it, you are signaling to the devs that if the creators are buying it, someone's probably going to buy it because the creators have, and therefore can't be bad, right? They're buying it. But if you don't buy it, you are leaving yourself without content, which is rough. Like if you just go, oh well, as a stand against Tarkov, I'm going to play League to 8 people. That's just financially hurting yourself, and it's difficult. I think this Russ says cosmetics is a slippery slope for shooters, though, especially more milsim types where detection is 90% eyes. Yeah, but as long as they're not, I don't know. Like I think COD makes for an interesting time, because I would argue that the base operators, the ones I use, are better camouflaged than a lot of the like rabbits wearing blue tracksuit or whatever the current trend is. But they have to do something, right? If they don't do something, you're just not going to get those online experiences because the maths don't add up. One of the DLCs from Cyrus reintroduced the mechanic that was originally part of the game. It was a while ago. Oh, okay. Chorus. But they're going to not include a mechanic, then selling back as DLC is scummy. Okay. Yes and no. I actually think Paradox have it right on their policy in general. Not across all games, like as we discovered recently. Not a fan of Victoria 3, not because of the DLC policy, just not for me. But Stellaris, I've bought every DLC. I'll continue to do so because I think our community's had enough hours out of it. The fact that one person could own DLC and everyone else can play on it. Now, if they've removed, if I was like, what I'm going to do is take out a core mechanic, do sod all with it, and then bring it back later with no changes whatsoever, sure, that doesn't feel great. If the reality is they took out the mechanic because they need to do something else, and then they need to do significantly more dev work and delivered it as part of a larger DLC that did lots of other things, honestly, that's that's fine. Like, they've done more dev work on it, and I think too often, and it is a bit of a challenge, the perception can often be that nothing has been changed, nothing has happened, or, oh, it can only take 5 minutes. I've got a meeting later on today. We're doing some dev work for a organization, and damn it, I'm about to get executed if I'm not careful. Damn it. Whoop, yep. Ah, bad words. Wasn't what I was expecting there. Like, if you've taken it out because you've had to make some adjustments, or a new system you've put in place needed you to make some changes to it, and then you've made the changes, who's paying for the dev work for that? And Paradox released so many updates to their games that are free. You could buy Stellaris today, have, what, is it 5-6 years of support they've had so far? With lots of updates, lots of bug fixes, and you have paid, realistically at this point, probably a 75% of the MSRP for that particular game. That is an army that I'm going to have to go face. Let's get out of here. So who is meant to pick up the bill for that development? Remove expertise buffs and stuff has been a weak example, to be honest, but I know people are up in arms about another one before I go into it. I mean, I've been playing Stellaris for years now. I honestly think their approach is pretty awesome for DLC, because you get free updates all the time, no matter what. Corvus says on the devs, so I get it, but recently it's been more and more clear their priority is keeping their shareholders happy, not the players, in your opinion. I mean, I would say that a better example for me of that would be City Skylines, which isn't Paradox developed, but it is Paradox published. City Skylines 1, I don't really have any notes. I think they did an excellent job supporting it throughout. They did creator packs, which people whined about, but like, so a developer allowing you to make money from their IP is huge, and should be celebrated. So yeah, you could go and get some of that content via mods, and people go, oh yeah, if I want to support the creator, I'd have supported them directly. There are vanishingly few numbers of people that actually do that. I have worked on projects where over the course of 2 years and a few thousand users, we had about $10 donated, which is fine, but you know, I'm just looking for some arrows and then I'll be out of here. Let's go grab it. However, the beach properties DLC I don't think was particularly well done, and I don't think that it was cut content, but I think they made some missteps there that they need to correct on. There's a common misconception about games development that if you have content ready at release, then surely all of it should have been given to the players as part of the buying of it. But that's not how budgeting works for literally anything. You work out, like, the base game can have 10,000 hours worth of dev time. DLC can have 1,000 hours worth of dev time. So if you get the DLC team, they reckon they've got that 1,000 hours, they're going to hit their sales target. I'm just going to make a few arrows and then we'll go out fighting. Like, even though it released at the same time, that wasn't budgeted in the main game, and gamers really don't want to pay more than a set amount for games. They've demonstrated it over and over and over again. There are very few titles that gamers like, oh yeah, I'd happily actually spend the $40 with inflation on. So there has to be that path that keeps people employed. That either you want more content for a game you love, which is DLC, or you don't. And if you don't, then you also don't want any updates for it, because base game sales after the first month don't sustain anything. That's just paying back the work the devs have already been paid for and the marketing the publishers put into it. So it's, yeah, it's rough. And you also have to bear in mind that in gaming specifically, all right, let's travel here, get ready. Release windows can kill games. Titanfall 2 is a great example of that. Titanfall 2, great game, well made, not buggy, came out in a release window at a time when COD and Battlefield and Halo dominated. It competed against those in the same month because they missed their release window, and the release window killed that game, and you didn't get anything else from that universe until really what, 2 years ago? And it's really easy for a corporate to delay a project if the project is going to be revenue impacting to their customers and they're not reliant on that product going out the door today. But if you've borrowed money, you've got bonds, you've got oh crap, that's more archers. Okay. If you've got debts that you've got to pay by a particular timeline, or you've promised investors or given guidance, you have to release it on that day. And I don't feel sorry for the developer there. I feel sorry for the publisher, because the developer is the one that is failing. In the example of Cities, there's no real competitor. They had no real pressure on the release window. They kind of did though. Like, I don't think they should have released it. To be clear, I think that DLC was not worthwhile. It shouldn't have contained trees. Trees historically have been something available to everyone. It feels like it was poorly thought through. And I think that they should have added more to it. There is a business case for that specifically. Ow, oh, you swine. There's a business case for that specifically where they could just not release the DLC. To say they'll do more damage to our brand than good, particularly if they ended up, as they have done with City Skylines 2, to be fair to them, refunding everyone that bought that DLC, and they're providing more content on top because they recognize they misstepped. Oh, bad words. It would be really nice if this bow fired once in a while.
Don't try anything stupid.
Okay, like running past an archer that's been shooting you. Ow! Oh, jeez. Okay. Game release, but then following up DLC, all the game's still broken, super bad. I disagree again. I agree that that DLC was should not have been released in the state it was in. He said not to try anything stupid, right? I'm out of stamina talking stupid things. So specifically that DLC shouldn't have been released because there wasn't enough content in there to make it a commercially viable DLC. Which Paradox have acknowledged and corrected, and gamers should hold them to account when they pull stuff like that. Oh, come on, Bo. Would you fire, please? But if they had released the equivalent of, say, Green Cities for City Skylines 1, which I think is an essential piece of DLC, lots of stuff in it, lots of new systems. Oh, for goodness sake, Bo, really? Bad words. If they've released the equivalent of Green Cities instead of that specific beach DLC, for God's sake, game, please fire. I would have been super happy to pay for it, even though the core game was in a bad state, because they were still addressing the core game. And Paradox, for the games I play from Paradox, which is not everyone's experience, for me, have stood by all of the games I've played for a number of years, which means I trust that they'll figure it out until they don't. Hobo says, realize how much goodwill he could earn by refunds off CAD at Fair and Warhammer 3. Like, to be clear, those have all been disastrous for every one of the companies involved. And I think all of the companies involved were probably learning a lesson from it, you would hope. That's a boar. That's brigands. Okay. So that DLC, totally agree. Shouldn't have been released. It was a bad idea. They should have known better. They'd done a really poor job of, yeah, just a terrible job of kind of reading the room. But if they'd released that DLC, but in a better state with more content, I'd have zero problems with it. So it's kind of a weird line, right? Like, if you release game content that is valuable as DLC, even if the game's broken, as long as the game is not broken to the fact you can't play it. And I've actually have to say, City Skylines 2, I've not had any problems. I know there are problems. And they are, you know, they're working on them and have acknowledged them publicly. But I've not suffered from any of them myself, but that's more because I've not got to the point in it that I'm building the enormous mega cities yet. If Paradox got any lessons, it was they'd have done so about 5-6 years ago. Honestly, they just hit all the wrong buttons at once for City Skylines. I disagree. I mean, if you really feel that way, Hobo, you wouldn't play their games. It's okay to disagree with how a company is doing things, and you should definitely hold them to account and call them out for their BS when they do something like egregiously bad. But like, they have done things that I would hold them up as an example of a successful ongoing revenue model. And done that for years, which is why I kind of trust they'll figure it out. Paradox don't abandon games, stares at Imperative Rome. I'm not saying they don't abandon games either. And like, also Imperative Rome, if you want the full list, didn't they abandon their 2 other games as well because there weren't the sales there? What was the other 2? The Lamplight whatever, I think, and then the Gangsters one that was the XCOM, which was by Revolver, I think. Where are we? Sorry, I'm looking out more for my own sanity than anything else. Lamplighters League and... Oh wow, is it not even on their website anymore? Wow. Oof. Filter. Full game. Empire of Sin. That was the one. So they dropped Empire of Sin, but their business model's always been really clear. Is that Paradox Games? They are not looking to publish one-hit titles. They're looking to publish titles that are sustainable for them for a number of years. And if the game's not got that traction, let's not put those down, they're going to leave it. And there's no developer in the world that will keep working on a game if it is not financially viable. And if they do, it's because it's a passion project and they are probably an indie dev and probably doing it in their spare time while having a real job. And like the DLC, in all honesty, came about because there was a line that gamers had. Like, if you think back to previous crises. By the way, CK3 will be up in 15 minutes for its half-past start. If you think back to previous controversies, you used to get, going way back when I were a young gamer, either you had to buy the game again every time there was a system update. Oh, I'm sorry, you got the Windows 95 edition. Well, you're SOL, because our last version of this that you bought the CD for doesn't work on Windows 95. So you're going to have to buy it again on Windows 98. There is no update. Or you got it off the front of a magazine. And then people would complain that, oh, well, they release the same game every year. They just brought out a insert game title here too. Well, insert game, if the graphics aren't that much better than insert game title 1, they could have, I mean, it's more an expansion than a sequel. I was expecting more. Okay, so we'll bring out additional parts. DLC allows you to do that, where you can expand a game that you love. And I think you should only buy DLCs for games that you love. If you don't love those games, don't buy the DLC. The base game works and exists. Hobo says, I play Paradox games because there's nothing that compares. Same with CA Total War. Paradox prove they do so much very better, but they get complacent very often across dev teams. It's fair. Russ says, I'm sorry about this. If I'd known it was going to start a rant, I wouldn't have asked on stream. Thanks for short playtime. Need that now. Dentist is hard work. Reasonable, Cody. Thank you for the games, Cody. But yeah, like I think we have to pick our fights as gamers, as content creators, and like devs have to pick their fights as well. Like what's the win here? If you sell the game and then fire your entire dev team, which is the model that studios worked on for the last 40 odd years, is you release the game, you might do a couple of update patches, although that is relatively new, and then you leave. You move on to the next project, you fire all your devs, you make your profit and you run. In which case, gamers need to stop whining about games being abandoned. Because if I come into your pizza shop, buy a pizza from you, I don't expect more updates for the price of the pizza 4 years later. I'm going to get eaten by these wolves. I also don't get to complain if I buy a pizza from you once and then you close down because everyone bought it once. Oh dear. Yep. Oh, bad words. So that's one model, is you pay a price once for a game, you get what's released on release, and you either like it or you don't. Or you go for a model where you are... Oh, thank you, game. Anytime you start running now. Yeah, or you go for a model where you're going to get additional content over time. So you play a game, you love the game, you get more content for it. That's a perfectly viable business model as well. But you're going to have to pay for that somehow. Like, I do not currently work in games development, but I do run a company that develops a lot of software. And like, people complain about SaaS, but then also complain they don't get updates if they don't, because your staff leave after you release a product if you just release one-off products. Like, it's a rough time, and people are an ongoing cost. Therefore, if you want anything that involves people, people should be well compensated for their time. And let's go this way. Where are the rest of these wolves? Like, if you wouldn't be happy working in the job that you work in for a one-off payment of $40, you can't really expect anyone else to. So you have to find a model that if you want more content, that you can get it. DLC gives you that without breaking the original game. Or you just accept that games, you know, the day of release is it. I don't really see another option other than, you know, game passes or, you know, selling time in game, which I don't love either, because although that does reflect the additional cost, so World of Warcraft, monthly time makes sense there because their biggest cost is servers, so charging people to access the servers that cost you the money makes a lot of sense. There's a very direct link between the two. But you have to find a way of doing it. Otherwise, you just don't get games. And games development already burns through developers like you wouldn't believe. The number of developers that I've worked with over the years who have gone into games dev because they're like, oh, I really want to develop games. It's my favorite thing. It's a real passion for gaming. Within a couple of years, they're out of the industry, swearing off, never going back in again. And some of that is related to the, specifically to like work patterns for gaming. And some of it is related to how toxic gamers are. Corvus says, I don't expect everything for free, but I do expect to receive the product I paid for, not to get half-done mess, then get upsold on extras. I mean, and you can vote with your wallet, right? The Paradox example with City Skylines, I looked at the pack and I didn't buy it. Is the clearest message I could send to them as someone that has bought all of their previous content. The clearest message I could send was, I'm not paying for that until I'm getting the core game experience that I'm after. It's reasonable to say like if a game is broken and buggy, as in it does not launch or it crashes regularly, totally reasonable to be super unhappy about it and call them out. And don't give them any more of your money until it's fixed. The downside, like, then again, just being honest, is that if the studio misread that, which they're their problem, not you, and they go, we sold tons of Game X, but we've released the DLC that we've been developing for the last 3 years, and is not sold at all. I don't think gamers are that interested in DLC for this. Let's just cut all the DLC teams and stop supporting it. Like, that is also a bad time. So I don't have a perfect answer, other than if you're not happy with it, don't buy it. You still pay for the game and the game's not what they sold in the first place. That's the point. Absolutely. Then, like, if it's a buggy mess that crashes within the first 2 hours, refund it. The most harmful thing consumers can do to a games company is refund their games. I don't think I have ever refunded a game. personally. That's not a judgment call. But if I got a game that was a buggy mess that just wouldn't open or crashed continuously and I couldn't get it to run, I would run, not walk to go refund that game. Because at that point, it's not just the not experience I wanted. And like Farthest Frontier, fantastic game, love it. Crate have supported that super well. They've not released any DLC, it's still in early access. If they left early access with what they have today, I'd be super happy, and I'm super happy with the price I paid for the game. When it first came out, you got past 100 pops, you chugged, and there was no way of limiting the number of pops. They've introduced that. It doesn't chug anymore at, you know, hundreds of pops now. And optimization is one of those things that tends to come last. So if you're running up against a deadline for a release, optimization is the thing that, rightly or wrongly, gets dropped. Because people will notice, well, you didn't put this system in you specifically told me about. They will notice less game runs bad on old PC. I refunded Farthest Frontier once because it was on load screen 15 minutes and have 5 FPS in game on lowest graphics. That's reasonable. Studying right now, welcome. Says why. If you mean why refunding a game is so harmful, because the publisher, the developer or publisher, whoever's publishing it, still gets charged transaction fees. And it also impacts the promotion for that game, depending on the store that you're doing in. Because, yeah, just looking at it from a retailer's perspective for a moment, if you see people keep coming back in with something broken, you'll stop selling it. That's not always a good plan, but it's what most retailers will do. And the fees can be significant. If you've bought $100 worth of game, and then just refund it because, not because there was a structural problem with it, they're paying on games up to 5% card fees. So the developer has not only not got the $100, but they've been charged $5 for you trying the game out. And if it is a buggy mess that doesn't work, I am not saying you shouldn't go and get that refund. Go get it. Run. Don't walk. But if you're using refunds as a way to try out an hour of loads of games, you are not adding to the games industry. You're actively damaging it. And people, Corvus is right, so many people do want things for free, and I think they are a whole other big problem. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think there's a reality check to be had with for some gamers, because I think that they don't understand where the money comes from. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. I mean, like, they genuinely don't have a clue, like, how games make money. And they think every games dev is rolling in it. The average indie dev actually made somewhere between $16,000 and $24,000 in total sales for a game in a year. The average developer, even a fairly junior one, most junior building it yourself, that's still below the UK minimum wage, so you'd be able to pay yourself maybe half a year. Refunding a game is also a much more direct message than not having bought it, because if you didn't buy it, they never knew you were a potential customer. Agreed. And like, I am absolutely defend everyone's right to use refunds correctly. Like, your game's a buggy mess and doesn't run on release. Like, maybe you should have kept it out kept it cooking for a few more days, and you don't get to complain that you're getting hit with the chargeback fees or with the refund fees. And if you charge back against a company that sold you something, that is even more harmful, because that's not a refund. That is, they'll get charged $15 or up to $25, depending on who's processing for them, plus the 5%, plus the money's taken off them, plus it can affect their ability to keep taking payments. So yes, chargebacks are absolutely a final solution if you are having a fallout with a business. Exe's personal choice driving industry behavior. Like, you're a vegetarian for a long time, not really comparable. I was neither activist. The issue is more individual purchases don't matter much in the scope of driving large industry. Don't know if the gaming industry is a unicorn here, but generally personal choice consumption does very little when it comes to literally any other industry. Gaming, it kind of does matter more because there's so much choice that is comparable, right? You are... In gaming, at the core of it, you are basically buying entertainment. And the games industry is competing with every other entertainment faction. Yeah, every other way you can spend money on entertainment. So, if I have $40 of disposable income at the end of the month and I go to the cinema, I can't buy a game with the money I've spent at the cinema. And what I'm effectively buying with a game is hours of entertainment. And I can easily spend that money wherever the heck I like. And as the thousands of indie devs have found, like, there's not enough money in just selling a really average game. Even if you sell the average amount of the average indie game, you are not making a salary from releasing even 2 games a year. So, like, you not buying those games signals to the dev pretty clearly as an indie dev that it's not worth doing. Not buying the big AAA games, you see changes in behavior, because the big studios will either they try and work out what the problem is, and they don't always get it right. And I'm not defending all studios here. Sometimes I'll look at it going, well, people aren't willing to pay for the base version of a game anymore. All right, we'll release it for free and we'll sell cosmetics. Because they had loot boxes, which always need to go on to die in a hole. Was that the right call? Was it they didn't buy it because they didn't want to pay for a game anymore in your genre and they were happy paying for cosmetics? Well, you discover at some point. Or was it because you didn't add anything to the experience, so the risk was too high and there's too many other games out there to play that they weren't going to give you money for the base experience because it's not really changed in 5 years? In which case, developing a different game rather than making an existing game genre free to play may have been a better call. Studying right now says, I find the quality of AAA games has been in general kind of slipping the past few years. It seems they launch games without any polish. There are a couple of reasons for that, and again, not defending anyone here, to be clear. I think you're going to see a lot more of those in the next year or so. Any studios that just survive the axe, and for some context, sorry, I'm setting up CK3 at the same time here. For some context, the amount of jobs lost in tech and gaming since last year to now is bigger than the number of jobs that were lost during the .com crash. It is a really rough time out there for tech and gaming. And that's why we're seeing this kind of golden age we have now, is because money was cheap, interest rates were low, people could take more risks, and there was this huge push to gaming that some companies thought that the games of the gaming industry had grown at a rate in lockdown that we would sustain. In reality, it didn't. And that meant that people placed very big bets. And they borrowed money because money was cheap and people were buying more stuff, so it made total sense for them to do so. The reason you're seeing such a cull in video games right now is because... Oh, sorry, I need to quickly change a couple of things to get Crusader Kings up so I can get everyone in the lobby for that. Because it is not setup. Sorry, chat. Multitasking terribly here. 112.4. OE30. Cool. There you go. The lobby is going up now, guys. There we go. And let's eat some meat. So if your studio has survived the axe and you are currently now paying an interest rate of more like 7% than the 3% you were paying before, and so is the studio, and investors are pulling out of buying bonds for your particular studio, you are going to be trying to put out whatever you could to get it out the door to see if you can get enough money to survive to keep building it. I'm not excusing that, but it is something that's going to be happening. For big game studios, they've cut loads of games, like they've cut loads of smaller studios within them and really focus. I think you're going to see after this golden age we're kind of coming to an end of, in my view, that you might see a lot more great games drop over the next 6 months to a year. After that, I think we're going to see a lot of studios playing it incredibly safe with only their biggest franchises making it, and games get cut a lot faster that just aren't selling. And there's going to be a lot of pressure to get games out the door. One of the biggest problems with the lack of polish is too wide a scope. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is a really well-scoped game. The character creator in Baldur's Gate 3 is incredibly simplistic compared to, say, Morrowind, but it was enough that people could create a character that roughly represented them, and they got the game out the door on time. That scope creeps to, oh yeah, but we do this cool thing as well, and this cool thing, and this cool thing, tends to mean that you'll find problems with everything you develop, and the more cool stuff you try and cram into it to try and get the marketing buzz going, the later and later and later you're going to get to the polishing stage. And if push comes to shove and you have your publisher knocking at the door saying, guys, we've got this multi-million-dollar ad campaign lined up to push your product, where is it? I need it, like now, as you said you would. Then the thing that's got cut at the end is all of that polish, is all of that additional stuff that you were going to do. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I just shot a sheep, damn it. I thought that was a big rabbit. Oh, bad words. All right. And optimization is always the last step because it has to be. It's not a choice you can really make. Because if you don't do optimization last, like, you're introducing new systems that you then have to optimize for again. Oh, I can't believe I did that. What a numpty. So yeah, if you've scoped your game too large or you've got financial pressure, as we're going to see a lot of games companies have at the moment, you are going to see that more games come out more often. Holy cow. With less polish. And again, not defending it, just explaining why it's going to happen. Strong cloth. I'll be bringing that back. Sorry, Wolf, don't have time to kill anything else. Just running back. The CK3 lobby is up, by the way. So if anyone is joining our Crusader Kings 3 game, it would help if I did that and that. Oh, the server ID was wrong. I'm updating it now. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's just going to be a rough time, I would imagine, at the moment, because there was a lot of money borrowed, a lot of money invested to gaming that is now a lot more expensive than it was. And unfortunately, that's going to mean for some really crap products coming out with all the awesome ones. And we've had so many awesome games. And the luxury, like Greg, the developer of Manlords, to be able to just take 7 years as a mostly solo dev to build a game until he was happy with it is not a luxury that studios have if you're making games on a commercial basis. Because if you're doing it yourself, you can eat beans on toast. If you're doing it for... let's go over here. If you're paying other people's bills, you can't say to them, look, I don't really want to pay you for 7 years. So, but I promise the end product, I'm sure people will buy it. Of course, that's why I do dev corporate software, definitely. You should ask about the banning of TikTok in America. I think it is silly. And I don't think they'll sell. Heads up, I'm not sure, but I think you did the CK session without a password. I don't know prompt. I don't know if it matters or not. Nope, doesn't matter. I wish people wouldn't lose their minds when games are delayed. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, the loudest voices aren't necessarily the right ones to be listening to. Right, we're going to delay moving over to CK3 just by a few minutes, just as everyone loads in. If it takes a while long to deliver a great game, so be it. Yeah, and I think that it would be a healthy attitude for more people to share that view. It's like doing QA on unfinished work, doing optimization when the game's not finished. Absolutely. But yes, I got you fancy cloth fires in the dumping ground there. Okay, CK works now. Awesome, yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Baldur's Gate 3 team come out with. And that's another important thing that they have the luxury of doing, and it is a luxury. They are sold enough copies, made enough money, scoped the game well enough. It's a luxury they've earned. I'm not taking anything away from it. Hey Pete, today, lovely to have you here as always. But they have earned that luxury to be able to say they're not interested in doing more, because if they did more, they'd lose all their developers anyway. If they're sitting on enough cash at the moment to not have to, they get to choose their next project, and that is a luxury that very, very few, even large studios, get. If you're going Craig could do it, all devs should do it, says Russ. Yeah, it took him 7 years. Their money, what money? They're all in debt. The golden age is coming to an end, but I think new golden age is coming for people like Greg who have had the time to spend making amazing games. Yeah, but the problem is that if you want more Gregs, all the people leaving the industry now that go, you know what, I reckon I can survive. I'll do it part-time for 7 years. That's 7 years before you get more games like Manlords. Joni EU plans to ban TikTok 2 because of the fake news, etc., etc. They were looking more, unless there's something I've missed, which distinct possibility. The EU were more concerned about the TikTok Lite app, because it was giving points for taking actions in app, which caused dark patterns, which probably should be illegal. Do people care that much, though, beyond the initial disappointment? Honestly, in general, when a game's delayed, it's the investors. If you invested $10 million with me, and I said I'd get you $12 million in 2 years, and at the end of 2 years, I was like, lol, I'm out of your money. We're struggling a little bit, and we're going to delay the game, so all the marketing spend we've put that money on is just gone. So we're going to try and raise another round. You're still do you want to give us another 10 million just to get us through? And we promise this time when we spend the money on the ads that we'll release it on the date that we did it. Honest. We just need enough Gregs so they can release a game every year. I mean, if only Greg's the Bakery did that, there's enough Gregs in the UK, they could release a game every day. The 9 women 1 month situation. Yes. That on top, but pro-Russian China fake news propaganda is okay. On TikTok, people make real journalists who prove anti-Russian stuff. Gets banned for fake news. If there's evidence of that, then sure, the EU should be looking at that. I would point to Facebook and say the same thing there as well. Flanker, if I had 10 million, I'd spend it all before giving it to you. Totally reasonable. I'd not trust Greg's to release a good game. They underbake their pasties and their sausage rolls. I'm so looking forward to being away in Scotland next week. Sorry. Right. Okay. It looks like everyone's loaded up on the on CK. So we're going to do a changeover. I'm just going to save this. If you're watching on Twitch, you can just stay exactly where you are, and we'll be playing some Crusader Kings 3 as part of our co-op. You're welcome to join us as well. If you're watching on YouTube, if you wouldn't mind doing the liking, subscribing, ringing that bell icon, it helps massively, more than you would know. And there's another stream already set up for CK3 that will go live in just a few moments. Nice rain ASMR stream. The rain, yeah, chilling you out, and the rants annoying everyone. There we go. You like the flanker rants of the ASMR rain? Well, good news, you can move to Wales. You can get both of those things. Right, just for a moment, I'll put some... I'll leave the CK3 music up. I just need to do the